His name was Leonardo Da Vinci, and like a bird, he soared as the author of the Mona Lisa. In his hands, painting became a lifelike art, a play of lights and shadows as mysterious as it is beautiful, and his influence has lasted even to our day. He was a sculptor, an architect, a scientist, an inventor, whose concepts were centuries ahead of his time. Long after his death, men would say his was the greatest mind ever produced by the Western world. But in his lifetime, he was the prey of fate, the victim of fortune, the offspring of despair. He was part of that great torrent which is man's life stream, forever advancing, yet forever hesitant, forever doubtful, yet forever bold. This is his story, part of the saga of Western man. It was a world in transition. By the middle of the 15th century, the feudal age was almost done, and if man still lived in towers behind stone walls, it was tradition rather than necessity which kept him there. Already there was a new sense of peace and order, and the realization that trade and commerce were more fruitful than war. Yet the Middle Ages died slowly. Man was still satisfied to accept the world and nature as he found them and as the ancients had taught him to see them. He asked few questions of his own, was content with the teachings of the past, even fearful of the unknown. Heretics were still burned at the stake. The unknown was still a dark mystery, the world of witchcraft. But these were the last holes of a world now dying. Man must now begin his conquest of the earth as he was meant to. But first he must learn its secrets, for in knowledge and knowledge alone would he find the power. So began the search which endures and never can end. Perhaps the greatest searcher of all was born in 1452 in this Tuscan countryside of a country notary and a servant girl. This is what he wrote and heard and thought.
I, Leonardo, drew this portrait of myself. The highest achievement of man is his ability to learn, but it is the doers of this world, not the learners, who are best remembered. I was born with a thirst for knowledge, an illegitimate child raised in my father's home without a mother. There was affection, but little understanding. But outside were the Tuscan hills, beautiful, contoured, seemingly infinite. A world without end to its wonders, especially to a boy much interested in the nature of things, and by choice, much alone. What causes trees to grow? Why is the sky blue? And the birds, what makes them fly? My earliest recollection, I must have been in the cradle, is of a bird, large and hovering overhead. It swooped towards me and came to rest upon me. Its great wings flapped. Its eye gleamed like a bright stone. It seemed to judge me for my worth. And then it flew away, and I anguished to follow it in flight. I always have. An earthbound creature, I have striven for the sky, but oh, so falteringly. As a boy, one day in my explorings, I came upon a cave, a simple opening in the hillside. Eagerly, I entered it to learn what it held, but slowed. For the deeper I went, the darker it became in its fantastic forms. I was torn between fear and desire. Fear of the dark unknown before me. The desire to see, to touch, to know what was really there. Such has been all my life. Driven by the passion to know, yet fearful of what I must sacrifice for knowledge. My schooling was of the worst. I created my own workroom and looked to nature as my teacher. I learned to draw from copying what I saw. My father thought I might be a painter. When I was 14, he took me from my home in Vinci. It would never be my home again. I went to Florence. It was a new world, and it was beautiful. There was a heartbeat of life lived with purpose, a glowing energy that erupted in new buildings, new works, new fashions, new ideas. Florence was the most advanced city of the day, and I was its most wide-eyed citizen. And when needed, I was a model, but not the best one.
Stop dreaming, Leonardo. Stand still.
I hardly ever was still. My mind demanded food, always. My great obsession, birds. When a bird flies, he seems to use his wings as a swimmer makes use of his arms in water. Is air like water then? When a bird approaches land, he drops his legs and spreads his wings. Is he dragging against air? Could there be friction in air? Can man also fly? How great the force of rushing water. How great the power of falling water. We could only chain it to work. What a power to substitute for men's arms. Perhaps by means of a wheel, or a multitude of wheels interconnected one with the other.
Leonardo, remember, art is discipline, not only craft.
The craft came easy. The execution of a work of art is never as difficult as its devising. I painted an angel in Verrocchio's Baptism of Christ.
It seems alive. I have taught you well.
Verrocchio entrusted me with the panel for the Annunciation.
Leonardo, it is in you to become the greatest of painters, if you do not squander your time.
I painted the wedding portrait of Ginevra da Vinci.
It is magnificent. At least a good likeness.
You might have your own studio if only you had patrons, even friends, or a family.
But I was eager to live life as my own man, to do what I wanted. I was 20 when I opened my own studio. Eventually, I did get a commission, an altarpiece, an adoration of the Magi. The work went slowly. What I wanted to do was hard, and I was deep in so many other things. Crossbows, and how to improve machines of war. astronomy, musical instruments, and how to fashion them in different shapes with different sounds, seashells and their wonderful construction, and the anatomy of animals, of everything. It was a drunkenness, and life was the wine, and knowledge the ecstasy. I was not content to accept the findings of the ancients. If you want to learn, you must seek yourself. In nature, you will find all answers. Study, observe closely. Nothing is too insignificant. The tiniest of beings hide the greatest secrets. With nature as teacher, one may learn all. My great weakness, I worked upon the altarpiece, composing it. It is the composition of a picture which is the greatest of its parts. Labor over it, for it is here a painting's beauty is born. But when your eye cries halt, stop, even if the work be incomplete. Do not expect either praise or understanding.
"7 months and not even one stroke of color."
This Leonardo is a draftsman, painter.
Whoever seeks a painting from Leonardo is a fool.
He is a dreamer.
Up in the clouds, so proud and just a country boy. Aloof. Vain. He wants to fly.
He knows no Latin, no Greek.
He surrounds himself with flowers.
He likes silks, perfumes.
I would not pose for him.
Perfidy, meanness, envy. That man who can know all things should find his strongest instinct in destruction. Ruler of the earth, no. Monstrous animal. And cursed is the day you left your cave. I would leave this perfidious city of Florence. Here I could never make my place. I wrote the Duke Ludovico Sforza of Milan. Most illustrious lord, I have long thought that to serve you would be the greatest fortune which could befall me.
Leonardo chose to expound his ideas on machines of war in seeking employment with the Duke. His ideas were revolutionary. A multiple-barrel gun capable of sequential firing, a machine gun. A light steam-powered cannon, a charge which exploded into smaller charges, shrapnel. A hinged immovable bridge equally useful for defense of a riverbank or to allow the passage of river traffic. The tank, an armored chariot equipped with cannon. And to future generals, Leonardo even advised to have the tanks immediately followed by infantry to exploit the breakthrough. Only at the end of his letter did Leonardo think to add,
I can also paint, and I can sculpt in marble, bronze, or clay. And these I can do as well as any other, be he who he may.
So Leonardo crossed the river Arno and left Florence. It was the year 1482 and he was just 30 years old. Already he was a mystic, and soon he would be a legend. In Milan, Leonardo found himself in a world of power, intrigue, and self-indulgence. The Duke Sforza ruled uneasily, but magnificently. His palace was a fortress, but his court was the most imposing of his time. They made Leonardo welcome, but they also neglected him. He had a studio and time for his experiments, but little call upon his skills except as a designer. As with other things, he did this brilliantly.
Leonardo has designed a pageant for the Duke, which takes place upon a stage emerging from a mountain, representing a scene in paradise. Leonardo has such elegance. It is the most perfect creation there ever was seen. Leonardo is a master.
Master of what? I enjoyed these amusements and the praise. What gnawed at me was the sense of accomplishing nothing, even if some things were done. The Duke's mistress was pleased with her portrait, but impatient of the time. There is more of everything, excepting time. A holy order commissioned me for a Madonna. I labored over the lights and shadows, attempting an effect more real, more true than painting usually gave. But they were not pleased.
Where is the figure of the Heavenly Father? And the gold leaf? Where are the seraphim? This is not what we ordered.
I was wasting my days, betraying whatever skills I had. Could I do nothing which would endure? Then one day, the Duke bade me go to the Dominican monastery. There was a blank wall in the refectory, he said, and I was to paint a mural upon it. Something to inspire the monks as they sat at their simple meal. At last, something of a painter, affixed to a wall for all to see as long as the wall stood. It was not a good wall, it was wet, unsuitable. But I would devise techniques to overcome that. It was a wall, and upon it I would paint a Last Supper, and it would live and breathe. I would try what no one had done before, to portray and forever hold a fleeting moment of great passion when Jesus said, "One of you will betray me." They asked, "Is it I, Lord?" I roamed the streets and searched for faces. I borrowed a nose here, an eyebrow there, the hand of one, the mouth of another.
You make them ordinary men, not apostles of the Lord.
I make them fishermen, a doctor, a tax collector, what they were.
And Jesus, what will you make of him?
I shall try to portray divinity in the face of a carpenter.
The prior thinks you slow.
Tell the prior to be patient.
The prior is impatient.
Tell him that if I hurry, I may have to make his the face of Judas. But tell him also that it is almost done.
It is beautiful.
It is alive.
Messer Leonardo, put away your paints. This is your masterpiece.
should last. It took 3 years to paint.
He's on a very damp wall, you know. Most unwise.
We hope for the best.
Mr. Leonardo! Mr. Leonardo! Come! Come!
The wall is cracking.
The water seeps through. It is turning to mold.
Oh,
What will you do, Messer Leonardo?
What can you do?
Nothing. It would be my fate to know this painting ruined beyond my recognition.